Now let's move on to make this project a pro project. Remember, this is a full stack application that you're going to build like a pro. So to be able to build this full stack registration website with all the features, we can't just have all the routes in one place here at init.py. It's going to be too complex for people to actually go through. So we have to structure it in a way that would make a lot of sense. Now, to do that structuring, we have to create what we call a folder inside the app folder. All right, so up until now, we've been working with our app folder. And if you look at my left-hand side on my navigation menu, meanwhile, to close this, you just click on this and it will close. But if you look at what I have right now, you can see the app folder. And inside the app folder, we got this folder for free, this package. So I didn't create it. If you're writing your codes and you're wondering what's this, don't bother. It will come there. It's a gift from Python to you. So up until now, we have just the app folder, and inside the app folder, we have our init.py. However, now inside this app folder, we want to create another folder and would call this folder route. So inside the app, another folder will be there. All right, so just right click on this app. Now make sure you're doing it exactly this way, because when I was learning how to code, this is something that gave me a real tough time. So click on the app, right click on the app and click on new folder so you can create this one called routes. And that's it, right? Now you have your routes. And inside this route, right click on it again and create another one called routes. Now it should appear like this. Let me increase my screen size so that you can actually see this very clearly. Now we've created the route and it's appearing something like this. Right click on the route again and create another folder and we'll call this admin. All right, fair enough. So we have routes, we have admin. Later on, I will tell you why we have both root and admin, but for now, ensure it is exactly like this. To ensure you're doing the correct thing, you can come to your file explorer now. Your file explorer, make sure you're in your events registration website or whatever you called the folder where we're working on this, and ensure you have app folder, my env folder, config, and run.py files. If you see something like this, correct, you're doing the correct thing. Now, if you click on the app, inside the app, you want to get a new folder called routes. So you go ahead, create this route. Inside the routes, you want to have two folders, one called routes and the other called admin. All right. So if you have this now, well done. Well done. Let's go back to our folder. So inside the routes, we have the routes. Now, inside the routes, that's where we'll be creating our files. Now, what's the first file we're going to be creating here in the root? Just right click and then a new file, and we're going to call this index.py. Index.py, right? That's the first file we'll be creating. So this index, why do we call it index? That's how you refer to a home page, a landing page in a website. You just call it index. You can decide to call it home.py, whatever. It's all fine. Now in this index.py, I'm going to close all of this, close all of that. Come here to the app, this init.py located at the app folder. We'll click it now and then we'll copy all of this, right? And paste it in the routes index.py. So let's paste it in this index.py at the end of the day. And here we go. Now we have this and we have app is not defined. So in our line 1, right along with me, from app, we want to import app. And that's all. We have to specify that and we'll have everything sorted out. Now though, for this code to work, we have to come to this root again and create another file. So right click, click on new file. And this one should be underscore underscore. So double underscores like 1, 2. init___.py. Recall ____init___.py. So it should be like ___. These are two underscores, right? But there would be no spaces in between them. So init___.py. That's how you're going to name your file. Now in this init.py, we are going to be importing things. So here from .index, we want to import home. Now, where exactly did I get this code from, and what exactly are we doing? In this folder, let's go to our file explorer. Let me open it from there to explain to you. So in this root folder, we have this index, right? And we just created this __init.py. Now, in this index, we have a function. So if we come here to this index.py, we have this def. Def means define. It's a keyword to say that you want to create a function. And the name of the function is home. So in Python, if you have any basic knowledge of Python, you understand that this is a function called home. If you don't, now you know. You've learned something new. Tell me thank you in the comment section. All right. This is the def to define this function called home. And this function would simply return hello behave, blah, blah, blah. Now, in here, in the init.py, what we are doing is that we are importing that function called home from this file called index.py. So how do you do that? You say from .index import home. Now, when you use dot, it's going to bring out the things that are currently in your directory. So that's why we say .index. Okay, so I hope that was clear enough. All right, so now we are almost all set to go. The last thing we want to do is we've created our index.py on our route. Recall, we're not touching this admin just yet. You just want to leave it alone. We'll have admin, but just leave it alone for now, right? Just leave it alone for now, but let it be there. So if it would confuse you though, you can delete it and then later I'll come back to it. So in this route, we have our init.py, we have our index.py, and then we've written our code for our index.py. We've imported it in our init.py. The last thing we want to do is to go back to the app folder and come to this init.py in the app folder. Note, we have an init.py now in the routes folder, not that one. We need to go to the init.py in the app folder. And once you're there, we can now say import them. So we can say from app dot route dot root import all. Now, how do we say all? We say asterisk here. So when you say asterisk, you're just saying import all. All right, just to recap, from app.route.root import all. That's all. So from app.route.root import all. And that's all we need to actually go on. Let's go back to our terminal. And here our terminal app has stopped running. So let me clear my screen and let's restart it. So Python run.py, it's restarting and it's restarted. Everything is correct. Let's go check out what we have there. Let's refresh our screen. We see hello B-Wave. Please like and subscribe. Let's try to just change what we have. So let's remove B-Wave and say hello Emeka. So we expect that at least one Emeka would be watching this video. I don't know, but so let's refresh and we have hello Emeka. So everything successful. Now we have our homepage saying hello Emeka, please like and subscribe. In as much as we are making progress, you would agree with me that this is not how a finished website looks like. So we have to have all those HTML, we have to have the CSS, we have to have JavaScript, the fancy things of the website. We have to have different pages. Now, when I want to talk about pages next, I may say routes. Okay, so when I use the word pages or routes, just know I'm referring to the same thing for the purpose of this tutorial. So how are we going to create all our HTML, CSS, fancy files? That's exactly the next thing we'll be doing